Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. Welcome to the 2025 Daniel Boone National Honor Society Induction Ceremony. My name is Joe Menser, and I'm the advisor of the Daniel Boone chapter of the National Honor Society. We are gathering together this evening to celebrate some of the most talented, dedicated, and intelligent young people from Daniel Boone Area High School. They serve as role models within our school and community, and we are happy to honor them tonight. To begin our evening, I would like to introduce Mr. Tom Volker, Superintendent of Schools, to give a few words of welcome.
Good evening, everybody. It is an honor to join you tonight as we welcome a new group of exceptional students into the Daniel Boone Area High School chapter of the National Honor Society. This is one of those amazing moments in the year that reminds us why we do what we do every single day. To our inductees, congratulations. Being selected for NHS is not simply about strong academics. It is about character, it is about leadership, it is about service, and it is about those quiet choices that you make every day that reflect who you are when nobody is watching. You represent the very best of Daniel Boone, students who work hard to lift each other up, contribute to a school community we can all be proud of. We see your dedication in the classroom, in our clubs and activities, in our community, and the way that you support your peers. Tonight, I'm actually reminded of the words of the great Steve Rogers, Captain America, who reminds us that I can do this all day. And you might be sitting there thinking, how does this apply to NHS? And that's a fair question. For me, it strikes at the heart of all things NHS. It's about perseverance. Excuses are easy, they always will be. But you have shown that you're willing to keep going when things get difficult. You put the time and effort in when there are so many other distractions. Scholarship, service, leadership, character. Perseverance is at the heart of all of them. While tonight, yes, is about our students, we do not grow in a vacuum. Thank you to the families that are here tonight and those that are not able to be here tonight for the guidance, the encouragement, and values you have instilled in our students. Thank you to our staff and our NHS advisors whose mentorship helps students turn potential into accomplishment. As you take this step into the National Honor Society, I hope that you accept it not as a finish line, but as a beginning, a call to continue leading with integrity, curiosity, and purpose. Congratulations again to each of you. We are incredibly proud of you, and we look forward to seeing all that you will accomplish. Thank you, and enjoy this special evening.
Thank you, Mr. Volker, for sharing with us. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Aaron Spores, principal of the high school, to share a few words.
Good evening, distinguished faculty, proud family members, and most importantly, our incredible inductees. Tonight is a night of profound pride for our entire school community. Look around this room. Families, thank you for providing the foundation of support that made this achievement possible. Blazers, you have earned your place here through relentless academic focus. Scholarship, the first pillar of the National Honor Society, is not just a grade point average. It represents discipline, curiosity, and countless hours of intellectual labor. You have proven you can succeed in the academic arena. If only that was it, just academics. But the National Honor Society is more than just academics. It is defined by the other three crucial pillars: service, leadership, and character. Tonight I challenge you to view this honor not as an award for past success, but as a tool for future impact. I will keep this brief and leave you with just 3 critical pieces of information that will help you in your journeys. 1, as future leaders, you will inevitably face pressure and obstacles. Truth is, you can't control the difficulty of the test, the decisions of others, or the opinions of your critics. But there are 2 things you can absolutely control every single moment of every single day: your effort, and your attitude. Your effort determines your preparation. Your attitude dictates your response to failure. Choose to show up fully. Choose to face every challenge with optimism and determination. That is the mark of true leadership. 2, resilience is the ultimate measure of character. It is not about what you do when the world is watching, but rather when no one is watching. You will inevitably encounter obstacles that challenge your abilities to test your spirit. You may fall short of a goal, face unexpected difficulty, or feel overwhelmed by a setback. As legendary coach Vince Lombardi said, it is not whether you get knocked down, it is whether you get up. A person's true character is not found in a perfect, uninterrupted streak of success, but in the unwavering commitment to rise again, dust yourself off, and learn from the experience. Choosing to persevere when things are hardest is the purest expression of your character and integrity. And finally, the most critical piece of information. Growing up will continue to feel less like a grand revelation and more like a collection of tiny moments where the world gently nudges you into knowing better. As you grow up, you will have to repeatedly answer life's most profound question: what am I making for dinner tonight? That question will lead you to life's most widely contested piece of information. The correct pronunciation is Worcestershire sauce. Growing up means accepting that perfection is impossible, mispronunciation is a universal mistake, and sometimes the simplest way is the right way. Congratulations, Blazers. I speak for everyone in the room tonight. We are very proud of you.
Thank you, Mr. Spors. It is my pleasure to once again welcome you to this year's National Honor Society induction. Tonight, we celebrate not only academic accomplishment, but the character, leadership, and dedication to service that define the very heart of the National Honor Society. As chapter advisor, I have the privilege of witnessing the growth of these remarkable students, not only in what they achieve, but in how they carry themselves, how they support their peers, and how they contribute to our school and our community. NHS is built upon 5 pillars: knowledge, scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Each inductee here tonight has demonstrated excellence in all 5 and has shown a commitment in living these values every day. This ceremony is more than just recognition. It is an invitation to continue leading with integrity, to serve with compassion, to seek knowledge with curiosity, and to use gifts to make a meaningful impact. You have already proven yourselves capable of extraordinary things. Tonight marks the moment you step forward to embrace that responsibility even more fully. To the families and teachers who have supported these students along the way, thank you. Your guidance and encouragement have helped shape them into the leaders we honor this evening. Your belief in these students have given them the confidence to believe in themselves. And to our inductees, congratulations. I'm incredibly proud of each of you. We look forward to seeing the difference you will make as members of the National Honor Society. Before we begin the official ceremony, I would like to thank some of the groups and individuals who helped make this induction possible. First, thank you to the Daniel Boone Area School District Administration and the members of the Board of School Directors for their continuing support of our program. I would like to thank the NHS Faculty Council. This group represents each of the 5 major departments at the high school and is responsible for the selection of candidates. They pore over each student's credentials and make each decision thoughtfully, using many years of experience in the classroom. Many serve year after year within this volunteer position because they see the value of recognizing those students deserving of the honor of becoming an NHS member. Please stand as I call your name. Mrs. Kim Taffel. Mrs. Anita Frederick. Miss Gillian Agnew. Mr. Don Welch. And Mrs. Jessica Tomaselli. I'd also like to thank my assistant advisor, Mr. Courtney Worley, for his help through this entire process. To make tonight a success, I have also received considerable help from volunteers from other school organizations. A shout out to the Yearbook Club and Mrs. Diana Yarish. Photos will be shared with students and families after the event. Blazer Media, led by Mr. Matt Palmer, is live streaming tonight's event. Thank you to our custodians and cafeteria staff for helping us before and after our event. Thank you to Boyers for providing our food for the light refreshments. And thank you all for attending. I would like to now invite forward the current president of the Daniel Boone Area National Honor Society, Chris Landis, to introduce tonight's guest speaker.
Our speaker this evening is Ms. Erin Gowdy. Ms. Gowdy graduated from Daniel Boone as a valedictorian of the class of 2021. She attended Messiah University and swam competitively all 4 years on their Division III team. Earning her bachelor's in education last May, she's returned to her alma mater as one of the primary center's new kindergarten teachers. Erin was Daniel Boone High School's NHS president her senior year and is honored to be this year's keynote speaker. I'm happy to introduce Ms. Erin Gowdy.
Good evening. It's an honor to offer a warm congratulations not only to a new year of National Honor Society inductees, but to all members and your families and faculty who have so faithfully encouraged you to this point. Having once sat in your shoes, it is a pleasure to return tonight. Thank you again for inviting me to speak, and congratulations, inductees. When I sat in this auditorium my junior year at Daniel Boone, I was more likely to be an engineer than a kindergarten teacher. See, I loved numbers. I loved their simplicity, their complexity, their consistency. I loved how reliably they carry value, so that when you earn a number, be it through a grade or a race, you know exactly what it means. And when you get good ones, it feels good. I did very well in school, partly because I was a perfectionistic workaholic, but also because that was what you did when you were going to be a biomedical engineer. I went to science camps and took unrequired SATs through COVID because everyone said I ought to do something with all my smarts. And if I didn't use them, I'd miss my life's calling. So did my calling change? No. I realized there's no one path for anyone. It's up to us to choose. And as quantitatively as we try to define success, it's not about the numbers. It's about authenticity. It took until my 15th year, the swimming year-round, to realize I'd been doing it wrong. Not the swimming part. I got pretty good at that. My mistake was believing success in swimming came from the numbers. From my times, my places, my knot cuts, or lack thereof. For over 10 years, I obsessed over them, over how fast I could get my times, over my competition and how I could match up against them, over how many places my points could bring for the team. And I achieved good numbers, the fastest even. I stood on podiums while college officials draped me in medals, and I thought that was what it was to succeed. My nerves churned before races, but I told myself it just meant I cared. Never mind being sick in the locker room before running to the blocks to toss goggles over teary eyes. It became just another agonizing part of the 200 butterfly experience. Numbers felt so important, but in elevating them to the ultimate thing and allowing them to control my mental focus, I'd made them too important. I could trace the attitude back to high school, to the never-ending common application, when I stressed over grade point average, test scores, number of clubs, leadership titles, service hours, awards, etc. The numbers were everywhere. They represented my work and effort, but that was it. Numbers were only ever meant to be a representation, a symbol, not my worth, not your worth. But if it wasn't about numbers, what would swimming become for me? What about learning and grades? What was achievement without numbers? My last race, senior year, I two-hand touched the wall at the end of my 200 butterfly. I resisted the urge to look immediately at the scoreboard behind me, as I'd always done before. For once, I refused to let a number define my experience of a race. Instead, my quad muscles ached and told me they'd given all they had, so I let that be enough. Through my cap, I heard my teammates screaming and cheers on the sidelines, and I let that be success. I shook my competitor's hand earnestly, no idea who between us had just won. I let my best effort be its own accomplishment, choosing to redefine success by quality, not quantity. When I let go of my goal time, when I let go of the numbers, only then was I able to be fully present in my race. I focused on the power behind each stroke, the purpose, and every breath. My 15 years, I never felt so strong mentally and physically. I was finally swimming fully present. I was swimming authentically. Later, I learned the time I clocked that night was not just my fastest 200 fly-in record, but the fastest in my team's history too. I couldn't believe it. Wasn't that the time? Wasn't that everything I'd been working for? Yet, I knew in 5 years, none of my teammates would remember that record. Even I can't tell you each digit, and it's only been a couple months. If success was the number, and the numbers didn't last, didn't matter, neither would my success. But if success was my ability to be present and authentic, I might have a chance. Because even after graduation, my teammates remember losing their voices from cheering at that meet. I do too. They've told me they also remember how I prayed with them before hard races, how I invited them to my apartment for Bible study, how I shouted encouragement to cheer us on even when it was only practice. If success was my ability to present myself authentically, intentionally, and with integrity, that was something I could accomplish. That was something worth accomplishing. And when I thought about that kind of accomplishment, my engineering dreams faded to discover something truer. I stopped listening to outside voices. I forgot about salary comparisons, and I realized I didn't want to be an engineer. I wanted to work with kids. I wanted to be creative and work with my hands, doing arts and crafts. I've since discovered kindergarten is a lot more than arts and crafts these days, but despite all its challenges, I do still love it. It is deeply satisfying work for me because it's the work my heart most genuinely delights in. I don't think it's the only career I'd be happy with. I believe it was simply the choice I made. My algebra teacher, Mrs. Slofsky, once advised, just make a decision, then work to make that decision the right decision. It's great advice and certainly takes the pressure off. But I'll add, if you're going to make a decision, make sure you are making it. Don't let numbers or anything else make it for you. My freshman year at Messiah, we had to take a seminar titled Created and Called for Community. In it, we read Jerry Sitzer, a renowned professor and author, who said, "We learn by trying, by experimenting, by doing. Our calling is inseparable from the journey." At the end of the day, it is less about what we do than how we do it. Sitzer argues there's no one college you're meant to attend, no one discipline you're meant to study, no one career you're meant to have, no one person you're meant to marry. Success is found in the success is not found in the quantity of scholastic accolades on a resume, but the quality of how you run your race, of how authentically you present yourself to others and stay true to what you believe, how you live, who you are. Looking across the room, I know there's rich depth of talent in each of you. To sit here tonight, you had to apply and prove your commendable possession of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. Congratulations again, by the way. You balance disciplined instrument practice with late-night AP study sessions and perhaps a sport, too. Maybe on the weekend, you serve with your church and review the minutes of your last club meeting. You're doing a lot. You're capable of a lot. And as exciting as it all is, sometimes that makes it harder to figure out what decision to make. As Paul told Corinth, we can do a lot. We could speak all the languages of the earth, possess all knowledge in the world, and give everything we own to the poor. But if we don't show love to others, we're essentially nothing. NHS highlights scholarship, leadership, service, and character. Our school's chapter selected you based on grade point average, leadership titles, service hours, and reference letters. We know scholarship goes beyond classroom records. Leadership goes beyond the titles earned. Service goes beyond the hours clocked. Character goes beyond what others see. Numbers play an important role in the objectivity of admittance, but they do not define the pillars. It's not about the numbers. As scholar George Saunders said, accomplishment is unreliable. Succeeding, whatever that might mean to you, is hard. And there's a very real danger that succeeding will take up your whole life, while the big questions go untended. However you decide to define success, as you move toward the quantity-focused realm of college admissions, wherever your next steps take you, my hope is this: that you refuse genuinely to let numbers dictate your capacity, that you pioneer your own chosen path, that you live authentically. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us. And as a token of our appreciation, Chris Landis, the president of the Daniel Boone Area Chapter of the National Honor Society, has a small gift for you. Thank you very much. At this time, we would like to begin the formal induction ceremony. Each of our officers will share a few words reflecting on the significance of the pillars of National Honor Society. Chris Landis will begin by presenting a reading on leadership.
I represent the pillar of leadership. In many ways, leadership is the culmination of the other pillars of the National Honor Society. In your roles as a leader, your scholarship, service, and character become clear. Scholarship is in your ability to learn and adapt to new situations. A leader must be able to pivot and make effective decisions with new information. Your character is displayed in how you treat those under your leadership. A good leader cares for the people under them and wants them to succeed, because a leader understands that if the people under them fail, they fail. Most important for leadership is service. A good leader is a good servant because they put the needs of the group ahead of themselves. He or she takes the blame for failures and shares credit when the group succeeds. A good leader is one to work hard and to encourage those under them. Leadership isn't simply being in charge, telling people what to do. Anyone can be a boss, only some can be leaders. A boss barks orders and sits back waiting for other people to work. A leader is the first to start working and is an example to others. A boss blames others. A leader accepts responsibility. No one likes a boss. Everyone needs a leader. The fact that you're all here today demonstrates that you are already leaders, and it is a skill that you continue to develop throughout your life. You'll be looked to as a leader in your school, your community, the workforce, and beyond. Even without a given title, you can demonstrate leadership among your peers by setting an example for those around you. Next, I would like to introduce our Vice President, Brianna Bedolas, to present on scholarship.
I represent the pillar of scholarship. Scholarship is a word we hear a lot, but it means so much more than grades or report cards. True scholarship is a commitment to learning and growing, not just for ourselves, but so we can use our knowledge and skills to make a positive impact on the world around us. Scholarship means taking advantage of every opportunity to learn both inside and outside the classroom. It is being curious, asking questions, and exploring topics that interest us. It is putting in extra effort to fully understand something, whether that means staying after class for help, spending more time on a project, or learning something new on your own. It is about always pushing yourself to do better and to know more, not because you have to, but because you want to. Scholarship also means using what we learn to make a difference. What we know becomes most meaningful when we use it to help others. The lessons we take from school, activities, and life can guide us in solving problems, making thoughtful decisions, and giving back to our community. When we combine learning with action, scholarship becomes a way to make a real difference in the world. Being a scholar does not mean being perfect. It means putting in consistent effort, staying curious, and continuing to learn even when it is difficult. Every challenge, every mistake, and every success teaches us something valuable and helps shape the people we are becoming. As members of NHS, scholarship reminds us that learning does not stop after high school. It is a lifelong journey that encourages us to stay curious, work hard, and use what we know to make a positive impact on the people and communities around us. With that, I would like to introduce our treasurer, Taylor Morva, to share her thoughts on the Pillar of Service.
I represent the Pillar of Service. Tonight, I have the honor of speaking about one of the 5 pillars that define the National Honor Society. That pillar being service. Service is more than a checklist of volunteer hours or a line on a resume. It's the choice to put others before ourselves, to act when no one else is watching, and to use our time and talents to make a difference in our community. True service is not always grand gestures. Sometimes it's helping a classmate understand a tough lesson, writing cards to those who need them, or donating some food or clothing to those in the community. Each act, big or small, strengthens our community and reminds us that leadership begins with kindness. Additionally, service is not just what an individual does within the school walls. It is what you do for others in your community and beyond. Showing kindness, compassion, and a genuine desire can make a difference. As a member of NHS, service is our way of turning empathy into action. It challenges us to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be. It is our responsibility to make the world a better place. To our future NHS members, please remember that service isn't found in recognition or reward. It's found in compassion, humility, and the willingness to make a difference one act at a time. Thank you. I would now like to welcome our Secretary, Danny Spots, to share his thoughts on character.
I represent the pillar of character. Tonight, as we welcome new members into the National Honor Society, we celebrate one of the more intricate qualities that truly define a person. That quality is character. Character is revealed not in a single moment, but in the choices we make day after day, when no one is watching, when doing the right thing is difficult, and when others rely on us to be steady, honest, and sincere. Character is shaped by our thoughts, our words, and our actions, and it grows stronger each time we choose integrity over convenience, kindness over indifference, and responsibility over excuses. As you look around, you will see classmates who are the top of your class through diligence and hard work. You will see leaders in their respective interests, hobbies, and sports, and those with high ambition and promising futures. Having strong character doesn't mean being perfect. It means striving constantly to be better than we were yesterday. It means showing reliability in our commitments. sincerity in our relationships, and compassion in our interactions. As you are inducted tonight, remember that NHS membership is not simply an honor, it is a pledge to uphold these values, to act with integrity, and to let your character illuminate your school, your community, and your future. Congratulations to our inductees. May your character continue to lead you toward a life of purpose, service, and positive impact. I'd like to now introduce Maddie Scherzer.
I represent the pillar of knowledge. Knowledge isn't just the grades we earn in our classes or how smart we may appear. It is what drives us to ask questions, think creatively, and explore the world around us. Without knowledge, we would all be ordinary people in an ordinary world. With knowledge, we have the power to challenge norms, expand horizons, and shape the future. In the National Honor Society, knowledge is more than academic achievement. It is about applying what we learn to make a difference in our schools, communities, and beyond. Knowledge empowers us to become leaders, innovators, and sources of inspiration for those around us. True knowledge also challenges us to think critically, listen carefully, and grow from every experience, even from our mistakes. Wisdom is not found solely in textbooks. It comes from life itself, from the lessons we learn at school, at work, and through our interactions with others. As we stand here today, we recognize that knowledge gives us power. Not the power to boast, but the power to build, to serve, and to uplift. It is responsibility to use what we understand for good, to seek truth, and light the way for those who follow. May we continue to value knowledge, not just as a path to success, but as a lifelong journey, one that shapes who we are and how we impact the world around us. Now, I would like to introduce Ms. Menser, our NHS advisor.
An important part of each year's induction ceremony is the lighting of the candles. This represents the students' acknowledgement of the principles and pillars held as members of the National Honor Society. I would like to reintroduce our president, Chris Landis, to announce our new members.
As I call each of the inductees, will you please come up to the front to receive the Candle of Knowledge, which encompasses all of our principles, and become a member of the National Honor Society. Owen Bell. Alana Brown. Peyton Castle. Taylor David Heiser. McKenna Debussy. Emerson Derrick. Natalie DeFuria. Luke Urillo. Grace Glass. Jada Gray. Jacob Asar. Savannah Heffernan. Aaliyah Hefner. Logan Herzog. Caitlin Hilberg. Kudavan Intafon. Emily Koo. Sophia Cohn. Maya Kramer. Julia Leedy. Paige Link. Anne Michelle. Kyle Holger. Caitlin Nestor. Talon Ricker. Tegan Ricker. Cooper Robinson. Dominic Stout. Daniel Talbot. Shannon Zilly. Samuel Walker. Dylan White Knight. Layla Wicker. And Sophia Woodcock. Will you now repeat the pledge of the Daniel Boone Area High School National Honor Society with me? I pledge myself to uphold the high purpose of the National Honor Society to which I have been elected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school. And will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Congratulations, you may now extinguish your candles.
We're going to take a few minutes for photos. The pictures taken by our yearbook photographers will be shared with students, so we ask that families please give the opportunity to the yearbook staff to take pictures first. We will begin with pictures of our new inductees, and then we will invite the returning members to the stage for additional photos. We would also like to invite everyone to join us in the cafeteria for a small reception. Thank you for attending this evening. Does any family want to take pictures of just the new inductees? I welcome you guys up to take those. and just kind of fill into the risers.
Yeah, that's what I said I was like, popping in.
Standing behind somebody who